Tim McCormick, I'm Dave Sims. Glad you could join us. There is David West. Those are just some of the numbers we'll be telling as part of his story this afternoon as he makes his last homestand here at the Cintas Center. And Tim McCormick, this kid's really special.
Oh, there's no question. He's got the college degree and the title of All-American. I agree completely. And I'm going to go as far as this. David West is the best player that has ever played in the Atlantic 10.
That's taking in a lot of good people, too. This should be an interesting matchup. Temple, as part of the usual March landscape, is on a roll. Had an abysmal start, had just a brutal schedule early. But they have come on. They began the season 0-5, 3-11, the worst start in program history. Since then, winners of 6 straight, 8 of 9, 10 of 12. But here is Xavier getting off to a good start. Lionel Chalmers.
Defensively, Temple started with the 1-3-1. It's the most compact look that they're going to play this year. They want to jam the length. You saw right there. You can't take away both the post and perimeter. That's something to watch.
One thing about this Temple team is they will shoot a lot of threes. David Hawkins goes inside, dragged his foot. First turnover today by the Owls, who have really done a good job of protecting the ball. We'll take a look at the Chevy Trucks starting lineup. Wesby, Polk, Hawkins has been doing very well, and Collins has been shooting it well. For Xavier, West does everything. And watch Miles, a fabulous rebounder, as Xavier's the #1 rebounding team in the A-10. Down low, David West, his first of many.
There's a perfect example right there. We know that West is the best big man in this conference, Dave, but Miles is easily the second best.
Miles, 10 points, 6.7 rebounds per ball game. Leads an offensive rebounder. Pay a lot of attention to him this afternoon.
Defensively, man-to-man for the Musketeers. They don't mess around on the defensive end. Opponents shoot right around 40%.
Marty Collins, freshman guard out of Simon Gratz High School in Philadelphia, 12 points per ball game, A-10 Rookie of the Week. And here's some full-court pressure by the Owls. West, a good conduit when you're trying to break pressure. Xavier 23-4, 14-1, and 13-1 at home. Wide open Romain Sato. 55% of his shots have been threes, and a foul on Miles. It'll be his first. And one thing that's paramount on offense for Xavier, find number 30.
No question. He's unguardable. I always expect 20 and 10. That's a given. But he's going to create another 20 just because of his presence and his passing ability. He's a total complete player, and I say this without hesitation, best big man in the country.
Over the top, Polk, no rebound, goes to Collins. They'll get a new clock. How about Temple with the threes this year? There's another one, in and out. Butler's there for the putback. Keith Butler, the freshman. He's out of West Medford, Massachusetts.
Yeah, kind of a dangerous environment to live with the three, though, Dave. They're going to put up about 25 to 30 triples.
That's a lot of action.
They expect a lot of long rebounds, too.
That's exactly right. Plays right into Xavier's hands. Here's West along the baseline. Chalmers is pretty much fully recovered from the early season, actually the Jan 1 foot injury. Chalmers gets it back. He's feisty. Hawkins got it back, but Miles ends up with it. They missed the chippy, and Butler comes down with the board.
Pretty amazing because Temple is #1 in the conference in steals. It looked to me like they had two right there and gave them right back.
There's a goaltend on Romain Sato. And they're going to score that goal to Alex Wesby. The officiating crew today, Jeffrey Clark out of Philadelphia, Gene Steratore out of Washington, PA, and Earl Walton out of Atlanta, Maryland.
Check out the elevation from the weak side by Sato. Got to let that one go, though.
Get it up top. Kick it to Finn. Finn for three. It's good. Diedrich Finn shooting almost 45% from three. That's his 46th make of the season.
And Thad Matta has to be thrilled. His squad last year goes to the NCAA, beats Hawaii, loses to Oklahoma. This team's a lot better than last year.
Boy, Alex Wesby off to the good start. Wesby, a senior forward from Benjamin Franklin High School in Philly, averaging 13 points a game on 43% shooting.
Had his senior night, just like David West, at the Leah Corris Center on Thursday night.
Temple coming in after knocking off LaSalle in that game. West with the left hand. He finishes with that left hand. It's probably better than 99% of the big people in the country.
talking to Thad Matta last year when they played at the Liacouras Center. John Chaney devised a defense that he's never used before. It was more man-to-man than zone. Thad Matta said, I have no idea what to expect in this game.
Goes baseline, pull up, very much a pro-oriented game. Hey, you get the ball, you basically got an ISO, and let her rip.
Yeah, a lot of weapons. This is a very small Owl team. In the past, they rely on the big guys, especially inside, but John Chaney at times goes with 4 guards.
No Lamont Barnes, no Kevin Lyde, no Ron Rollerson up front. They've had in the last 4 or 5 years.
They always have the big guy. Mark Jackson with the T-Wolves.
Sato can't get it to go and taken down by Butler.
Keith Butler is an important player to watch. If he gets in foul trouble, which he's done, this game's going to be over shortly.
Wesby a pullback, can't get it. And Miles with the rebound. In a hurry, here comes Finn for Xavier. Nice look off, sets up Sato. Romain hands off to Finn. Sato into an alley-oop. What a catch. Underneath, West stays with it. They'll shoot a couple. They got fouled by Wesby.
As I watch Xavier's offensive attack, they really create a defensive dilemma for Temple, because how do you stop all 5 guys? They're all weapons out there. And the one thing that's really elevated them, with the addition of Finn at the point guard, he allows Lionel Chalmers to move over to the 2. It's a more natural position. And on the front line, very impressive the way Anthony Miles has played center. He lets West go off the ball a little bit more.
West makes the first one, and here's a look down low at the attention that West draws. And how about the catch?
Yep. The seal and the deal. Beautiful delivery from up top. They use David West inside, a lot like Bill Self uses Brian Cook at Illinois. A lot of high-low action, lob inside, and you have to compare those two very favorably with their offensive skills.
David West, senior day, great free throw shooter. Xavier by 2. As always, he gets off to a terrific start. More on David West and Xavier coming up right after this.
Exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball, brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road.
Welcome back to the Cintas Center on the campus of Xavier University. It's a big day for David West. Had his number retired, and he joined some greats up in the balcony here at Cintas Center. Xavier, number 11 this week, with the 2-point lead. Glad you could join us for some Atlantic 10 action. I'm Dave Sims with Tim McCormick. So, David West, you need a compass? They want to show you that he's an All-American. It's not a difficult sell. Here's a mouse pad, and here's one of the things they were handing out today, Tim McCormick. And if you act now, Tim, tell them what they can win.
It's the David West bobblehead doll, and it's kind of neat. This is the new trend in college basketball. John Chaney, Temple's coach, was talking to us. He was checking out the bobblehead, and I said, Coach, you had one of these, right? And he focused right here, and he said, you know, I didn't like the definition of my backside on my bobblehead doll. So he got in the guy's face at the company. They redid it for him. He said he was very happy with the end result.
It's only Coach Chaney can put it. Redo. John Chaney, Hall of Famer. And his team down by just a bucket right now. David Hawkins going against Romain Sato.
Have to love the fact that his ball club is playing so well. How do you like the angle on that off the glass?
Wow. I didn't think he was going glass on that one. I actually shuddered when that went in. It was a fadeaway going glass by Wesby. Now look at the defense. Temple tying the game at 12-12. Jackson can't get it. David West got the rebound, wins the second battle, and then loses it. Here comes Temple.
Notice that Temple is not going to get seduced into playing too fast. 80s in this building, they get blown out. They've got to try to keep it down around 60.
Take their time. Hawkins can't get it. And oddly enough, though, in this 6-game winning streak, what are they averaging? 79-6 a game. Sato turns it over. Check out the angle right here on this make by Alex Wesby.
Yeah, and there was no smiling. You cannot bank it from right there. That's a horse shot. No way.
Oh, man.
No way.
Nicely done by Alex Wesby. Coming off 6-point performance in the win Thursday against LaSalle. Picked up his degree back in August.
Patience, pretty good idea offensively versus Xavier. They're pit bulls at the beginning of the shot clock, but they're right there. If you wait them out, or if you make them spend some time on the defensive end, I think Xavier loses interest.
Collins drove baseline and got the bucket, got hit in the left eye trying to shake that one off. 14-12, Temple with the lead now. Finn left open, that's a 3. Can't get it, rebound, and taken down by Keith Jackson. Sato kept it alive. And here's a steal. And they can't hold on to it. Collins with a nice effort. John Chaney's ball club really playing some outstanding basketball, and so is this club. Badmata, 14 straight wins. It's the 3rd longest winning streak currently in the country, behind Kentucky's 19 and Weber State's 15. Gordon Sato, they pay attention to him. Hawkins slips down. Chalmers drives baseline. Leaves for Jackson. 15 on the shot clock. Open man Chalmers penetrates. Under duress, here's Sato. He had 9 on the shot clock and he hit it. Romain Sato.
Best offensive trip of the game for Xavier. I was really impressed with the activity of Temple's defense. They were all over the place, but they still got a nice shot.
Xavier back in the lead by 1. Under 12 and a half to go. Here at Cintas Center, Hawkins trying to get free. Collins looking for him. Now Hawkins gets it. Power drive by Hawkins, sets up Polk. Polk over the top, and Polk. How about Temple, the way they're shooting the ball? The Owls lead at 17-15.
Yeah, you finished this sentence. You live by the J. It's working right now.
8 out of 12 from the field for Temple. Chalmers with a step through, sets up Sato. Chalmers, they leave him alone. Almost an NBA range. In and out. And the rebound taken now by Elliott, who just came in the game. Glenn Elliott, a 6'9" sophomore. Quickly up ahead to Hawkins. Sato tried to body him off, but Hawkins is powerfully built. Sato loses that battle.
Yeah, he does a good job in the weight room.
Got a timeout on the floor. 11:47 to go. Back and forth we go. Owls shooting 67% and lead by 2. Temple Owls on a 7-3 run to take a 2-point lead here at the sold-out Cintas Center on Senior Day. Look at the Temple huddle, and it has been a tale of 2 cities, or two seasons. Getting too literate there.
I think the offensive explosion, though, coincided with the insertion of Brian Polk into the starting lineup. You know, you're always looking for that third option, and Owl fans know that Hawkins and Wesby are going to give you around 30 to 35 points. Polk has really emerged, and he's given them that outside threat to spread the court.
They knocked it out of bounds. It'll remain Temple ball. Collins, Elliott, Wesby, Hawkins, and Polk on the floor right now for the Owls. Keith Jackson, Sato, Chalmers, David West, and Miles right now. Check that Finn for Xavier.
A nice collection of perimeter game from the Owls. That's a team right there that can stroke it.
Back it out. Murray's in the game now. Tough shot by Wesby on the fadeaway. Foul going to be called on Murray. Niall Murray, the sophomore from Houston, Texas. Number 21. That'll be his first.
One of the early surprises as we talk about the field goal percentage in this game, the one problem I think that Xavier has from time to time is they ignore David West for long stretches. I think this guy needs a post touch nearly every single possession.
Passes the ball and gets 3-4 assists a game. Big rebound by Elliott off the miss by Chalmers.
St. Joe's game went to OT earlier this week on Wednesday. David West was dominant, but when St. Joe's made their big comeback late, David West never got the ball.
Hawkins and a miscue with Wesby. Second turnover by the Owls. And don't forget today, championship week. It tips off with a full day of conference finals in ESPN2. At 2 Eastern, the Radford Highlanders face the Bulldogs of UNC Asheville in the Big South Conference Championship. Then at 4 Eastern in the Ohio Valley, the crown its champion Tennessee Tech takes on Austin Peay. Championship week presented by 7-Up and on ESPN and ESPN2. That Asheville beat #1 Winthrop. An Alex Craig will tip in with 0.4 left on the clock. Beat him in overtime, 81-80. Here's Hawkins with a steal. Hawkins with a man back. Second turn, second steal, and Hawkins takes it all the way home.
Thad Matta nailed it. He said his #1 game piece today is protecting the ball because at #1 in steals in the Atlantic 10, if you give it up to Temple, they lay it up.
Biggest lead of the game thus far for the Owls. Here's Chalmers left open. Perfect rotation on that one. He knew he had it as soon as he let it rip. 19-18 Temple. Chalmers, a senior from Albany, New York. 11 points a game. Real tough competitor, back to full strength. We had seen him in January when he's trying to regain form after coming off the foot surgery, and he's trying to get too much too soon, but he looks terrific now. Gets a rebound right here.
Hey, Dave, when's the last time that West got the ball?
Your point is right on the money. Down low, Keith Jackson back outside. Chalmers feeling it. 3 threes, 21-19, Xavier. You're right. David West, I don't think the last 3 possessions hasn't had a touch.
I think it goes farther back than that. But it's working.
Wow, blocked by West. He takes over.
I guess
the lead out. Sato, he's up for 2 hands in the jam. Started by David West.
Wow.
As you were saying.
I'll tell you what. The last 2 times David West touched the ball, they were both blocked shots.
8:50 to go. Crowd turned on by the defensive surge. Here's Wesley looking for something here. Hawkins tees it up, and he hits. David Hawkins, a 30% shooter from long range. And Hawkins with his first 3 today makes it 23-22.
You see, I'm just not sure how you cover the Musketeers. They score inside, they've got the perimeter game, and then they're also the best offensive rebounding team in the A-10.
Chalmers with the miss. Here's Hawkins trying to convert. He gets in traffic, and he gets a foul. I believe it's going to be West on the grass. It is David West. For West, that'll be his first.
Defensively, you see the Musketeers really able to pressure on the perimeter. Why? Because they have a perimeter defender protecting the goal. Sato can leak out from time to time. Absolutely love the way Xavier plays.
Crowd upset on the call by Jeffrey Clark. They disagreed that David Hawkins was in the active shooting. Ed Mata is upset. Hawkins goes to the line. And David shooting almost 79% at the line. Here's Anthony Miles back for Keith Jackson. Hawkins, part of the reason why Temple's won its last 6. Is what he's done in his last 4.
Definitely an all A-10 type here. The more I watch David Hawkins, the more I like him.
Coming off a 19-point performance against LaSalle. He shot 5 for 9, 8 for 10 from the line. He had 4 steals, and he's 23rd nationally in steals. So it plays into your point. If you show it, they're going to take it. Owls lead it by 1, 24-23 as we come up on 8 minutes to go first half. Puts it on the floor, kicks it back to Sato, raises up a 3 over the top. Romain Sato can really light it up. Came in with 73s. That's tops on this ball club. What a great 3-point shooter. Second and made 3s in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Collins down to Hawkins, beg your pardon. Back and forth we go. Xavier by 1, not for long. Alex Wesby, here's another guy feeling it today. Wesby, he's got 8 points.
Yeah, and the beauty of that basket, it lets them go back and set up that killer zone defense again. Historically, John Chaney defenses always do a good job taking away the opponent's best post scorer. That's what's happening here.
Polk and Wesby almost combined on another steal. There's a bad throw right there by Miles. He looked wide left. That's the 3rd time Xavier's turned it over to this point. Tied at 26. John Chaney, the Hall of Famer, got his team very much in this game at the 7:07 mark.
We're tied at the Cintas Center. A lot of defense going on here. And when we enjoy the work of the Temple zone, you notice the way that they extend and play the passing lane. At this point, Romain Sato is yelling, "Stop, Steve." What you find a lot of times is that they play the passing lane, they get out there, and it translates into steals. Temple leads the A-10 in swipes, about 11 per game, and you know that if you play for John Chaney, you're going to learn a little bit about the defensive end of the court.
Absolutely. David Hawkins averaging 2.46 steals a ball game for John Chaney's Owls. It's third in overall play in the Atlantic 10. There's the numbers right there. Temple's done a terrific job. Just 10 turnovers a game. That's number one in the Atlantic 10. There's Polk in the corner, guarded by West. West got a hand on it. And Jeffrey Clark says that Sato knocked it out of bounds.
Don't you think that's the reason their transition defense is so good, Dave? You don't give it up, get a chance to get back pretty good.
Boy, there's some coaches would kill for those numbers. 5-7 a game.
A lot of teams give up 17 turnovers in a game, let alone 3.
You bet. Remember, trouble Villanova had last year. I think they were doing almost 17 and a half. Wesby down the lane, and he got it. Alex Wesby on the attack all afternoon, and he's got 10 points. It's 28-26 Owls.
Back to David West. He told me before the game, I said, what were your impressions of Temple's zone defense last year? He said, I thought there were 6 guys on it.
Chalmers over the top, going to loosen it up. And I tell you what, he's doing a good job to draw some attention at you. You got to go out and guard him. Chalmers having a fabulous first half, 29-28. Chalmers has got 12 already on 4 threes.
Let me tell you the cause effect, though. If Chalmers keeps making threes, they've got to go out and cover him. That will create space for West.
Elliott with a good rebound. Collins for Polk. Good look at it. Polk, no. Rebound, Elliott. Elliott strong. Elliott goes up. He got hit. Taken away by Miles. And a good play right here by Collins to cut off the pass down court to Chalmers. They had a secondary break. Here's the three-point numbers. 7 of 12.
Now, why is that? Because they've got the killer post game inside. They can force feed to West and Miles, but they also make the perimeter shots.
Polk picks up the foul, his first.
The problem that Temple's going to have is that you have to commit 2 guys. You see the double team going right inside. Polk had a perfect position to go straight up and down. You can't make your job much tougher by fouling this guy because he makes his free throws. Now, as we try to project Brian Cook type numbers for David West, where's he going to be in the draft? Because I think that Cook and West are the same caliber players.
I agree.
Both kind of right on the verge of that lottery. I see David West someday being like Horace Grant, the retired NBA player, former Magic and Bull star. You know, 6'9", 6'10", maybe. I don't think that David West is quite that tall, though. He looks more like a 6'8 and a half, 6'9 max.
The thing that's interesting about him, too, he's got the low post game, but he's got the mid-range. He can shoot that 12 to 15-footer, too. Xavier, 31-28. Hawkins on a quick pop. Oh, boy, missed iron. And they get a push-up. And that's going to go against Temple. And they get Wesby. For Wesby, that's his second. Glad you could join us for some Atlantic 10 action from Cincinnati, Ohio. We're on the campus of Xavier University at the Cintas Center. Temple taking on number 11, Xavier. Dave Simpson, Tim McCormick with you. Here's Chalmers, been filling a 3 all day. He's got 12, and Butler just shoved Caudle out of the way. Fans didn't like it. 2-on-1. Here's Wesby. He goes up, and he scores.
Hey, Temple's not known as a great transition team, but Xavier's sending 4 guys to the offensive glass. That's the reason they're getting the breakouts.
Wesby's off to a terrific start with 12 points. 1-point game west of baseline jumper. Great touch. That is that intermediate game we're talking about.
Was that David West or Horace Grant?
He's got 10. Coming up on 4.5 to go on a 3-point Xavier lead.
And how quiet are those 10?
Right, because you went that little stretch there where he got ignored. And how about that bounce game by Hawkins? David Hawkins, he's got 9. I tell you what, with their one-on-one game, they're running free, they're getting stuff off the dribble and the pick and roll. Very effective for the offense today for the Owls. And an offensive foul. And it's going to be on Will Caudle. He was trying to set up down low. Will's a freshman 4-5 man out of Indianapolis' Warren Central. Will be his first. Today, the college basketball regular season comes to a close with a full day of action on ESPN. Next at 2 Eastern, we take you to the Big East. Lemecca Okafor and Ben Gordon. And Connecticut take on Troy Bell and Boston College. And at 7 Eastern, Damon Brown leads Charlotte against Reese Gaines and Rick Pitino's Louisville Cardinals in Conference USA action. NCAA basketball on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. West with a block. Hawkins retrieves. He's in the lane. No. Miles with the rebound.
I'm anxious to see Troy Bell, hottest player in all of America.
I saw him Tuesday, and it's phenomenal. I believe he finished with 40. And when they started attacking him, that's the second really bad turnover by Miles. Fourth for the team. The second half, Bell really started distributing the ball. But here in our game, David West, All-American, he and Xavier lead by 1 against a hard-charging Temple Owls.
This is Labatt Blue, the clean, crisp lager imported daily from Canada. Its refreshing, honest taste comes from a brewing tradition.
And we're back. Matthew, thank you very much. Number 11, Xavier, with a 1-point lead over Temple. Two very hot ball clubs. And we look at the Temple huddle, you do not see Nate Blackwell and Bill Ellerby. Bill Ellerby, great coach at Simon Gratz High School, fell in a bathroom at a trip to Rhodey, injured his back. Nate Blackwell in a car accident, and today suspended. So that leaves Dan Leibovitz out of the University of Pennsylvania. Should John Cheney, and John's been known to go off every now and then, if John were asked to lead the game, Dan's going to be called on to run the show.
Yeah, I asked Dan if he was going to put in a man-to-man defense if he gets the chance, and he said, no.
That's a long walk from Cincy to Philly.
I saw Temple twice earlier this year. I'm impressed with the involvement of their offense. They play with so much more freedom.
In the game is Hawley Smith, number 15, takes down the rebound, and Hawkins thought he got rid of it. And the kicker on the story with Nate Blackwell, he got suspended today by John Cheney. And you know how significant that is if John has to suspend Nate Blackwell, who was Nate was his first recruit when John got to Temple. Captain, one of his all-time players, great point guard. And John Cheney says, I think this is the best course of action for our team in the university at the present time.
He demands discipline from his players, from his staff, too, undisclosed reasons, and we won't speculate.
David West down low. He's got a mismatch, and then Butler comes over. And they're going to get the foul on Hawley Smith. That'll be his first.
I made the comment that I think David West is the best player in A-10 history. The reason I say that, Marcus Camby, Eddie Jones, Lou Rowe, those guys accomplished a lot, but they were never the 3-time player of the year. He dominates at both ends, and his numbers certainly bear that out. A lot of guys in college basketball will give you 20 and 10. But what I like from West is he does it at both ends. He blocks shots. He shares the ball. Very unselfish. And look at the bottom number, steals. You don't see many centers that can get their hands on the ball like that.
Tell you what, I remember as a freshman on a very good Xavier ball club here. And he stood out then, and the growth has just been exponential every year.
They call Penn State linebacker U. Highlight the quality of forwards that have come and played for the Musketeers. Brian Grant, James Posey, Aaron Williams, Tyrone Hill.
Tyrone Hill, absolutely. Air ball shot by Collins, and then here's Hawkins with a deflection to keep Xavier from getting out on the break.
You think we may eventually see Anthony Miles on that list of quality big guys?
Well, he's done a fabulous job this year. He's first in offensive rebounding. Look at that, 180. That's a good mix. Knocked away by Butler. Heath Butler with the block. And Temple down 3 with the ball.
Yeah, Butler's done some good work as a freshman. Number 1 in blocks this year.
Adrian Finn almost had it. Coming up at halftime, the Mass Mutual halftime report with Matt Weiner. Tickets to be punched, you bet. Championship week starts. Cinderella already alive, and Pirates on the bubble. We'll get you an update on that.
It looks like 3 tickets will be punched from the A-10 this year with Xavier, Dayton, and St. Joe's.
Temple's going to try to make some noise. They'd have to win it.
Can you imagine, though, they'd have 4 teams from the Atlantic 10.
That would be remarkable. Sato left alone. He hits a 3. Romain Sato, he's got 11, 38-32. Biggest lead for Xavier. Crowd reacting to it. Here's Collins. Hope steps inside. He's got a size mismatch. Tries to take advantage. Doesn't go. West kept it alive. Here's Chalmers. And we got a blocking foul. It's going to go against Pope. And for Pope, that'll be his second foul.
Last year, Thad Matta's squad were beaten in the NCAA tournament by Oklahoma. He said they were tougher, especially on the glass, but he thought he had similar personnel. What he decided to do is use the bubble drill exactly like Oklahoma. They put a lid over the rim, and they work on rebounding and toughness. Last year, they were very inconsistent on the glass. This year, they're number 1 in the conference.
They are doing a marvelous job. They're 12th nationally in rebounding margin at plus 6.4. Coming up, the Big South Championship is Championship Week presented by 7-Up continues here on ESPN and ESPN2. Radford takes on UNC Asheville. And then the Ohio Valley Championship, Tennessee Tech against Austin Peay. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.
So Winthrop's not going to be going from the Big South after 5 straight NCAA trips. You could probably call them the Duke of the Big South, right?
Except for the fact that they didn't get into the tournament. They've done well in the conference. Here's Sato again. Boy, when he gets a look at it, beautiful stroke as we're in the final minute of play, first half. Sato's got 13. 8-point lead for Xavier. Temple has never won in this building. Austin, its only trip. And Temple, Hawkins got Sato up in the air, and he scores. Nice play by David Hawkins.
Early in this game, I made the comment that an 80-point pace is suicide for Temple. Xavier's right on that number right now. Temple has not done a good enough job of slowing the tempo of this thing.
Temple has helped people in this 6-game winning streak to 63 points a game, and that's going to go by the wayside rather quickly here. John Chaney's club averaging just shy of 80, right? But they've got to get some stops. Xavier's done an outstanding job. Temple coming in after win against LaSalle, 68-58 on Thursday.
The quality of shots for Romain Sato is tremendous. They attack the lane, and you can tell from his stroke that the kid's a worker. And you look at the body on him, and he is cut. He does a nice job in the weight room, but this is amazing. Romain Sato could be a spokesman for the George Foreman Grill. He cooks in his own dorm room his own food. He focuses on 3 things: chicken, steak, and rice, because he said the dorm food, too much fat.
I heard, it was interesting flying out. I heard George on an interview on the plane, on the audio services. And it's interesting how that story came to be. I want to promote these grills, and he's got like $100 million in the bank now. What a good guy turned his life around.
My guess is he's more known for the grill than he is.
That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. Sato misses. Temple's got a chance for one more shot. Here's Holly Smith. He fumbled it, and that's going to do it. And you could have made an argument for a foul right there at the end, but they're going to let it go. David West on senior day, his final home appearance. Number's not bad, 12 points here as Xavier has a 40-34 lead, and we go to our Mass Mutual halftime report. Here's Matt Weiner.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball, brought to you by the BMW 5 Series, BMW, the ultimate driving machine, and 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler. Make 7-Up yours.
Welcome back to the Cintas Center, everybody. Good look at Harriet West. Her baby boy David West having a pretty good first half for the Xavier Musketeers. 40-34. While West didn't get a whole bunch of touches, he was still very effective nonetheless. On the night, today gets his jersey retired.
Yeah, the A-10 version of unstoppable, of course, at both ends. 10 points, only 4 shots. And does he make people better? Notice the way he kept it in bounds, and he got the ball to Romain Sato, who was absolutely stunning. 13 points for Romain in the first half.
Glad you could join us. Dave Sims, Tim McCormick with you. Temple shot pretty well early on. They've fallen behind. It's on an 80-point pace right now. Doesn't bode well for them.
No, it doesn't. I thought that was an offensive masterpiece for Thad Matta's team. I don't think I've ever seen this before. They had the baker's dozen in the first half. 13 hoops, 13 assists.
4 ties, 10 lead changes in the first half as Polk has it knocked out of his hands. Temple's biggest lead was 4 points, and Xavier's biggest lead, 8. Alex Wesby with 12 points for the Owls, 11 for David Hawkins. Wesby really shot it well, 6 for 8 from the field. Hawkins went 4 for 9. And for Xavier, how about Chalmers? All of his field goals were 3s. He went 4 for 8. Polk, no. Rebound. Taken down by Sato. Here's Finn. They Finn, Chalmers, Sato, West, and Miles for Xavier.
To further illustrate their balance, for a game you typically like to have 3 guys in double figures. Sato, Chalmers, and West all had double figures in the first half.
And how about West assisting after he got his shot blocked? Fed the wide open Sato for 3.
14 hoops, 14 assists.
Xavier number 1 in the A-10 in assists, and Temple's last in all games. Biggest lead right now for the Musketeers. Wesby takes it back to Collins. Collins back rim. Long rebound. Here's Sato. And foul 35-40 feet from the basket by Collins, his first.
Many players, if they get their shot block, are distracted. Notice how he stays with it. He knows exactly where Sato is. And if you look at the caliber of Romain's shots, there's nobody even close to him.
Amazing how a guy can be that open. He shoots 34% from 3, 41% overall. Number 2 scorer behind West. Turnover. Sato gave it up. Quickly up ahead to Hawkins. 2's a 3 and hits.
Not a lot of assists for Temple this year. Why? Well, they lost Ling Greer and Kevin Lyde from last year's squad. The 2 guys that got touches every possession, they ran everything through them. This Temple team very good off the dribble. They lack the one true playmaker, but they've got a lot of guys that can put it on the deck. 14
for Hawkins. Finn in trouble. And Wesby takes down the board. Wesby the trailer, feeling it. My goodness, he's got a good take going for him. And just that quickly, the Owls are back to within 3, 15 for Wesby.
And John Chaney knows that for his team, Alex Wesby, without question, is the catalyst.
Sato got another good look at it. In and out, rebound to Hawkins. Hawkins will keep it himself. Hawkins, off tackle, boom play. 3rd down and 6 for the Owls. That's a foul, first foul on David Hawkins. BMW first half stats show that Xavier, look how they shot it from 3. Both teams do a good job at the line. And Sato 13, 4 on 3 for 5 from deep.
I like the fact that there's a good flow to this game at both ends. The referees calling a nice game so far.
Pretty consistent. Jeffrey Clark, Gene Sturgeon, and Earl Walker. Miles has not had his typical day. West inside. Once he gets that close, forget it. He's got 14.
Miles and West are a devastating 1-2 punch inside for the Musketeers.
Miles in the season, he's a 10 and 6 man. West is a 20 and 12 guy. Polk's got West a long ways from the basket here.
Isn't West a center and Polk is a 2-guard? It kind of shows the versatility, doesn't it?
Yeah, he was comfortable out there too, right?
West will cover whoever. Now he's on Hawkins, who's a small forward.
Butler ends up with it. Can't get it. Rebound West. Xavier comes in off a Wednesday win at St. Joe's, 88-80 in overtime. Clinch the #1 seed in the A10 tournament. Chalmers, all he wants to do is shoot some threes. And why not when they're going in at this rate?
And this is as simple as I can put it. The reason that Xavier is dismantling this zone defense, they've got 2 point guards. They're able to drive and get open jump shots.
Chalmers 5 out of 9 from 3-point range. Holt trying to answer. No. Finn brings it down. Here's a break for Xavier. Finn takes it right down, sets up. Chalmers sets up Finn. On open look. Bingo! 6 for Diedrich Finn. A 45% three-point shooter. An 11-point advantage, the largest of the afternoon. And Temple wants a timeout at 13:34 to go. All facets of the Xavier offense percolating on high here. They go down low to West for an easy deuce. They've got one facet there. Then they can beat you from long range. It's Xavier leading 51-40.
The NCAA.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. Dave Sims, Tim McCormick here. 51-40. Xavier #1 in the Atlantic 10 in three-point field goal percentage, and look what they're doing today.
Yeah, remember the Owl game plan? They were going to keep David West under control, live with the jump shot. It hasn't worked.
Butler couldn't track that one down on the initial touch, and then he throws it away. And another timeout on the floor. Xavier on an 8-0 run over the last 3.5 minutes.
And now the toughest.
Thank you, Matt. Timmy Welsh and those Friars on the move. They're looking at a 3 seed in the Big East. Check out the signs here at Xavier.
You've got to explain to me who the favorite is going into that Big East tournament. You know better than I can't figure it out.
Take a coin and flip it.
That'll be a lot of fun.
How about Xavier? 11 threes today for this 11-point lead, and that's a season high. The school record is 14.
The way that Temple's sagging inside, David West is not going to get 47 like he did versus Dayton earlier this year.
One of the great lines, if not the best line in college basketball this season, 47 and 18 in this building. A thriller against a very good Dayton ball club. Here's Wesley. Holt may have moved it. Couple tippy toes. Butler keeps it alive. Oh, he missed the chip. Here's Hawkins down low. He knew that West was a shot blocker. Made sure he got him up and down a couple of times. And Hawkins has 16. Speaking of Dayton, Oliver Purnell's club picked up a W today at the forfeit against St. Bonaventure.
What a sad story that is. Huge mistake by the administration.
Couldn't agree with you more. Here's Finn firing over the top. These guards are really getting it done. That's 12 threes today. 9 points for Diedrich Finn.
One thing I remember, Phil Martelli, the probable coach of the year in the Atlantic 10, told me last year, versus Temple, your goal has to be at least 10 three-pointers because that's what they give up. They pack it in, and then it turns to Jay.
Collins, no. Here's Finn on the run again. 12-point margin for the Musketeers, who clinched the #1 seed in the A10 tournament. West sets up Finn. He's open there, shooters. Why not? Rebound, West. West will get him a new clock. Momentarily knocked away by Hawkins. Finn with Chalmers in the backcourt. West, Sato, and Miles up front for Xavier. And if you follow the Atlantic 10, here's Sato over the top again. Boy, I tell you what, they're penalizing Temple big time. They're giving them the openings. Stroke it. 57-42. Sato having a great game with 19. And another timeout. What do we have, a tech or a timeout? Jim Steratore with the call. Something happened off the ball, and a timeout was called. 30-second timeout called by the Owls.
They may have to address their defense rather than being so post-oriented. They may want to step out there and cover the arc.
Yeah, I think so. At some point, you got to make the adjustment. Certainly there's plenty of time to maybe, or certainly to make a run here. Today, join ABC Sports for a regional college basketball doubleheader. At 1:30 Eastern, you'll see Cincinnati Marquette or Wake Forest NC State. Then at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, it's Texas Oklahoma or Clemson Georgia Tech. For those of you on the West Coast, your second game will be San Diego State UNLV at 3 Pacific. Check the local listings for the game in your area. Xavier on a 14-2 run, Tim, over the last 4 minutes. See if John Chaney changes his defensive thought right now. Next time they get down the floor, Collins has got it for the Owls. Collins with Polk, Wesby, Elliott, and Hawkins. Here's a face-up. A little flop there by Finn. Official's not buying that one. And a rebound. Wow, that's a heck of a save. How about Elliott? Very athletic. Tough shot. Wesby, no. They keep it alive. West rebounds. West got fouled. Got an outlet. Third foul on Brian Polk.
And you could talk about trying to deal with David West, but he's like Shaq. You know, you can slow him down, but everybody else gets a chance to play off of him. Look at the three-point numbers. That's astounding right there. I mean, forget game conditions. You go in the gym by yourself. You will not shoot that well.
I think that's money in the bank. Chalmers down low. West, no, stays with it. Miles, a great offensive rebounder. Taps it down. Miles, #1 in offensive rebounding in the Atlantic 10.
Depressing has to be the word in the back of John Chaney's mind. 5 offensive weapons. You're forced to stop. You think you're doing good, but they're the best offensive rebounding team in the league.
West coming outside, plays some defense. Here's Wesby off a quick dribble. Rebound Elliott, and he got fouled going back up.
Dave, on a national scale, people just have no idea how good this Xavier team is. And I don't know who they're going to draw, but I've got a real strong suspicion that they're going to be in my final 8 when I fill out my bracket. And once you get there, who knows what happens.
That's exactly right. A tip, a bounce here and there. Elliott goes to the line, blends out of Atlantic Beach, Florida.
One of the surprises about why it's going to be so hard to deal with Xavier, you know, nobody knows about Miles. You have no idea how to deal with West. Now, the coaches in the A-10, they've thrown every gimmick defense at this kid, and so they have a pretty good idea what buttons to push. But when you're in the NCAA situation, you hope and pray that this kid doesn't have a great game.
Temple starting to extend its defense now.
Nice adjustment.
Sato sends it cross court. Nice catch by Chalmers.
After the perimeter extension, now is it time to go inside?
There's Sato inside. Tough shot. Rebound Elliott is 6. Hawkins with a man to beat. Hawkins got around Chalmers and did everything but fall through. A lot of contact from Elliott and Sato. They let him play on. Got a timeout. 11:27 to go. 17-point lead. I don't have an idea on him. I can't help you, but he's having fun. That's all that's important. Matt, thank you very much. Temple right now on the short end, down 17 with 11:27 to go. Temple with just 2 points in the last 6.5 minutes. However, John Chaney in his last 3 seasons, look what he's done prior to Feb 1, because they play probably in his 3 years the toughest schedule in America. Then they get it done once they get into conference and get on a roll.
Amazing graphic, but if you play for the coach, you're going to improve.
3-on-2 led by David West. He sets up Miles. He does it all. 4 points for Miles, 61-42 Xavier.
I want to throw a number at you here. Their execution has been A+. They've got 21 buckets and 20 assists. What you're usually looking for is 50% execution. You know, if you have 20 buckets, you'd like 10 assists, and they only have 7 turnovers. Amazing offense.
It's outstanding. That one will go for Niall Murray. 24% on the season. His first bucket, he's got 3. 10:48 to go. Temple for the game, 5 out of 14 from deep. Jackson kept it alive. Only loss here for Xavier was against Richmond. And on the reach, they get Wesby for the foul. That's going to be his third.
I really like the way that Thad Matta has handled his team this year. Now, I always thought of him as a half-court guy, kind of grind it out, but he's adjusted to his players. And if you look at what they're doing offensively, they're running a lot of their man-to-man offense versus a zone defense.
Just the first, check out the 4th team foul against the Owls. Thad Matta says, I'm obsessive. I got to do something in terms of working out. I saw him in a hotel gym a couple of weeks ago. I got to get my time in no matter what time of the day. Oh, he blew the layup. And that kind of a last 7-8 minutes for the Owls. West for 3. Why not? Got the stroke, and it goes down. He's got 17. And now it's starting to get out of hand. Your call back, way back when you said it was on an 80-point pace. That's exactly where we are, and Collins picks up the foul. That'll be his second. Team 5th.
It was expected this year that Niall Murray was going to be their starting point guard in place of Lynn Greer. David West having a solid game as his send-off. But Murray's the kind of guy that he has not been a great practice player. He's kind of like, you know, the running back in football that fumbles in practice. A lot of Owl fans would like to see him more often, but you've got to get it done in practice if you play for John Chambers.
West showing the all-around game. He can shoot it, he can dish it, he can defend. 21 for Sato. Fitting way for David West to wrap up his home career. Appearances here at the Cintas Center. 66-45. Another reason Temple's been struggling too, Tim, is that Xavier doesn't allow you to get to the foul line. They don't commit many fouls. They're 10th in the fewest fouls in the country. And how about Temple? Temple has been driving the ball to the basket, but they've only gone 2 for 4. 4 shots at the line.
Exactly. Here it is. Xavier's got the best post players in the A-10, and I'd put their trio of guards up against anyone else. And St. Joe's is real good, but the depth factor really goes in the Musketeers' favor. Wow. With the left hand.
Miles. He's got 6 on the afternoon. Miles, a junior, transfer from Alney College in Illinois. Seeing players use their offhand to be efficient around the basket. Saw there's Hawkins over the top. We saw Marcus Hatton get 40-40 of the night for St. Joe's in a win against Rutgers. And he must have got 10 or 15 points down low with his left hand finishing at the basket.
David West will never blow you away with his athleticism, but it's how solid he is. He was telling me earlier about his senior night and going off and doing positive things. And he remembers being a freshman in his first game. It was at Cincinnati Garden, and he said that he was a little bit uncertain. He wasn't confident, and he can't believe what a great journey it's been for him and how much he has improved.
One of the great stories was last year at their year-ender banquet, and he got all his awards, and right before he left, he says, oh, by the way, I'm staying. The place went nuts.
Before the game, as a send-off, they retired his jersey, but also they gave him the sheepskin.
Didn't you love that? Wesby with a three-point play. He's got 18.
Hey, Dave, if you got the diploma a little bit early, I don't think you would see any more classes the rest of the year.
What's today, March 8th? The immortal words of Harry Callis. Out of here. Jackson, his first field goal. West got a steal. Leads the break. They got numbers 4 on 2. Jackson, Chalmers, he's loving the 3 all day. He get it. Rebound, Jackson. Sent away by Butler. Butler with his 4th block. Timeout on the floor. 70-44. Xavier's going to get more than 80 today.
This road isn't.
exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball. Brought to you by the all-new Subaru Baja, the world's first multiple-choice vehicle.
22-point bolts for Xavier, and welcome to the David West Show. The Temple Owls, no answer for Mr. Versatility. Does so much out there. He has his number retired. Notice the court awareness. Beautiful delivery. He's done that all season long. He attacks the rim with vengeance. 6'9" playmaker. And he is definitely a Larry Bird type player. Makes everyone around him a more complete player. And how many centers can make the triple?
And make it look so good, too. Look at that. I love it. Want to stay for a 5th season. I've got a good sense of humor here in Cincinnati. What numbers today? The stat line for David West, 17 and 6, 5 for 8, a high percentage, 7 assists, 2 blocks, and perfect at the line.
But it's been quiet.
Yeah.
They don't force feed the ball to him, and he does not get on the block and demand it. He gets everything he does kind of within the flow of their offense, and that's something you just don't teach.
I'm sure you saw earlier in the year the highlights of the 47 and 18 that he put on Dayton. Thad Matta just sit back, and his guy was going, and they looked for him, they found him, and he just did it all. 21, now 22 for Sato. Matta said he wouldn't trade Sato for any player in the country.
Yeah, last year, for a long stretch, I thought Sato was the best player in the A-10. Some of the biggest, most powerful hands of anybody you're going to see. He's a small forward, but he's got the hands of a center.
But Dr. J always has the big hands. Michael Jordan has the big hands. Big ally. Big asset. Tough shot. Hope off glass. No. Kept alive by Hawkins. And now Finn comes down with it. David West was head up and traveled.
Dave, since this is West's final game, wouldn't you like to see him just, step outside of himself, maybe take a couple forced shots? Like, he could have launched that 3 right there, but the unselfishness just kind of takes over his game.
Parents getting a good look at this game. A couple of rows off, not too far from the Xavier bench.
Dave's
Amos and Harriet West out of Garner, North Carolina.
Dave's a historian. Got that from his brother and his dad, and how nice was that?
Wesby with 20, 72 to 50. Glad you could join us here in the Atlantic 10 Cintas Center. Dave Sims and Tim McCormick with you, and the West and Sato show. 2 of the main ingredients for Xavier. Very proficient and efficient today, 72 to 50. Musketeers call a timeout. But that 1-2 punch has been outstanding. They account for some big numbers. Look at that. Sato came in having taken a couple more shots than West. Both are outstanding free throw shooters and get a lot of mileage every game for Thad Matta. Today, the college basketball regular season comes to a close with a full day of action on ESPN. Coming up next at 2 Eastern, a Mecca Ultra for Ben Gordon and the Connecticut Huskies beat Troy Bell and the Boston College Eagles. And at 7 Eastern, it's Damon Brown leading the Charlotte 49ers against Reese Gaines and Rick Pitino's Louisville Cardinals. NCAA basketball on ESPN. For more info, log on to ESPN.com.
I always remember back to after Troy Bell's freshman year, how a lot of people speculated he was off to the NBA. Never thought that he would be around for 4 years. 4 straight years, 20-plus points.
Closing in on the Big East Conference scoring record. He's about 33 shy of Lawrence Moten's mark. Fabulous, fabulous numbers.
How come more people aren't calling him an All-American? I saw Dick Vitale's All-American team. I saw Jay Billis. I've got to put Troy Bell on my team.
And John Cheney a little bit angry at Jeffrey Clark, and he calls a timeout. Take a look at your All-American team. You got some good folks on this one.
I could go to bat and win with my All-Americans. John Chaney not real pleased right now. You know, you've got Bell, the number 4 scorer in the nation. BC's won 9 of 10. Wade will be the best NBA player in all of America. Josh Howard, the best wing with ease. And then Nick Collison reminds me a lot of Ray LaFrentz. And my player of the year, David West.
And not because you're in Cincinnati.
No. And I've watched him play throughout his career. A lot of guys are going to score, but he blocks shots, and he's the best passing big man in all of college basketball.
Impressive performance not only by David West, but by his team. This was a close game through most of the first half. There were 4 ties and 10 lead changes. Temple led by as many as 4, Xavier as many as 8. 40-34 at the half, but it's been all Xavier here in the second half.
And the formula is pretty simple. The reason Thad Matta's team has blown out today is because they have post-perimeter balance. Temple is one-dimensional. They get nothing inside with their back to the basket. If they're not making jump shots, Dave, nothing's happening.
25 for Sato. Here's Hawkins working on Keith Jackson. Good man-to-man defense by Xavier, and a foul before. It's going to be on Sato. So Romain, that's his 3rd team foul. So Xavier, boy, as we mentioned, just 15.9 fouls per game. 10th best in the country. And Temple in the second half, actually for the game, 3 for 5 at the line.
5 free throws. That's being nuts. It's a little bit on the passive side. You know, that's their game right there. Shooting the fall away jump shot. And their poor start this season, really pretty expected. When you look at, they lose their point guard and center, Lyde and Greer. They start 3 freshmen early and play a top 20 schedule.
Played an incredible schedule to start with. Bunch of games on the road.
I want to see David West just take it now.
Oh, maybe
shake, go to the rim, get creative out there.
Keith Jackson going baseline, sets up Sato. And Miles gets another offensive rebound. Sato takes it right down. Nice catch and a foul on the play. A good hard basketball play there. Maurice Collins with the foul. He's 3rd, all here in the second half. Doesn't say enough about Miles on the 0 boards.
Yeah, but notice Keith Butler has to come up to stop penetration. You know, the problem there was the breakdown on the perimeter defense, and the pleasant surprise numero uno for the Musketeers has been Miles. Lost 20 pounds. He's not flashy, and what he does is he allows David West to roam the perimeter a little bit more than he normally would.
Started his last 25 games and pushes this to the biggest lead enjoyed by Xavier this afternoon, 26 points.
Lionel Chalmers is looking good after he broke his foot. Kind of looks like the quickness is back.
They're in full strength. And just where they want to be going into the A-10 tournament. Hawkins works hard to get that bucket. David Hawkins, tough inside player, intermediate game. He's got 18. Under 5 to play here at the Cintas Center. Let's project ahead. Xavier, Dayton, St. Joe's, clearly the top 3 teams in the Atlantic 10 tournament. In the Atlantic 10, as we look ahead to their tournament, what do you foresee?
Well, I was listening to Jay Billis and Andy Katz on College Game Night on Thursday, and I was interested to see the seeding. They said that Xavier right now is a number 4 seed. I think that's a little bit high for them. They could be a 2 or a 3 if things fall right. They also had Dayton as a 7 and St. Joe's as an 8. But I think it's great that this conference is looking at 3 teams in the NCAA.
Jackson tried to create something. They got fouled. Here's the thing, too. If you're St. Joe's, they've got Delonte West. He's got he's out today. He's got an injury. That could really hurt them.
I agree completely, because if you're looking at the conference, Delonte West has to be looked at as the most improved player. But talking to the selection committee on a conference call earlier this week, Mr. Livengood said that there are so many different factors, 10 to 12 different criteria, and injured players is only one of many.
Jackson at the free throw line. Gets that one to go. He's got 4 points. As we look ahead to the A-10 tournament, which will be held in Dayton after many years in Philadelphia. St. Joe's has a bye, and they're going to play second-round action against the winner of LaSalle Fordham. They could eventually meet the host team, Dayton, in the semifinals. What a game that would be. West with a goaltender. Xavier has a bye, and they will play the winner of UMass against Duquesne GW. So they're looking pretty good getting into the final. They could beat this Temple team potentially in a semifinal game in the A-10 tournament.
Talk about an insane environment. Can you imagine if Dayton plays against St. Joe's or Xavier in that championship?
It would be two hellacious back-to-back games on a Friday, Saturday. That's for sure for Dayton. And the fans at Dayton, it's one of the best places to watch a basketball game. It's one of the best supported programs in the country. They're knowledgeable fans, and they're into it.
Absolutely.
They are into it. I love it.
It just seems totally unfair to me that Dayton gets to decide the championship on their home court.
It's been in Philly for years. The Temple's won it here or there, but not nearly the support that Dayton would get.
I don't think we're going to see it at St. Bonaventure anytime soon.
No. Not at all. Not at all. And there's your 80 mark, Tim, with 3:26 to go. Temple just used its last timeout. Don't forget, we've got the championship week. It tips off the full day of conference finals in ESPN2. At 2 p.m. Eastern, Radford Highlanders face the Bulldogs at UNC Asheville. The Big South Conference Championship. Then at 4, the Ohio Valley Conference crowns its champion. Tennessee Tech, the Golden Eagles, take on the Governors of Austin Peay. That championship was presented by 7-Up on ESPN and ESPN2.
And the Govs have won 12 of their final 13 games, and they're going against Jeff Lebo of North Carolina fame.
Part of the Dean Smith coaching tree. David West has done his job today. His final home game here in Cincinnati at the Cintas Center. 3:26 to go. Xavier's 27-0 under Thad Matta when holding opponents to under 62 points. Right now they're 54, but should Temple get 62, guess what? I still like their chances.
And those numbers are not indicative of how good he is, because everything that Temple did defensively was loaded up to take away his power game, and he still gets numbers like that.
Got a 3 to his credit as well today. This is a team ready to play some basketball in the postseason. That's a good-looking shot by Brian Polk, the junior out of Harbison, Delaware. He's got 80 to 57, approaching 3 minutes to go, and they give a quick foul. Take your pick. It'll be Hawkins or Collins.
Hands down, Brian Polk is the best shooter for the Owls. Last year's A-10 six-man of the year. And really, it's been his emergence into the starting lineup that's propelled this Temple team and makes them so dangerous. And I know that if I get Temple in the A-10 tournament, I would much rather get them in November or December and not in March.
Hall of Famer John Chaney. Temple has yet to win a game here in Cincinnati. 16 points for Chalmers, who's had an outstanding game.
Yeah, in the history of Atlantic 10 basketball, you go back to 1983, when it was the Eastern 8, then the Atlantic 10. John Chaney's team has missed the semis or finals only one time.
So in spite of what happened here today, you know, you still got to be wary when you play Temple in the A-10 tournament. Temple has a first-round bye, and they're going to play Richmond. Richmond moved into the second round after with the Bonaventure situation with the Bonnies being eliminated.
Alex Wesby at the line. Had a nice conversation pregame with him and talked a little bit about the emotion of senior night. We are talking about David West and his send-off and how Alex went through it on Thursday night. doesn't know what he'll be doing next year, and he really wants to have his team have a chance to win in the A-10 tournament, because if they're not 500, they're not going to the NIT.
Timeout, under 3 to play. Xavier's got this one under control. Thank you very much, 82-59. Hopefully the BC fans will be very supportive and loud today for Troy Bell, who's had Player of the Year and a Player of the Year season, to say the least, in the Big East. We're in the Atlantic 10 here in Cincinnati. Dave Sims, Tim McCormick, and you hear the roar because one of the seniors is about to come into the game, Ryan Caldwell, 6'5", 250-pound senior from right here in Cincinnati, McNicholas High School. Caldwell's only played in 8 games this season. Diedrich Finn. The fact that Chalmers got hurt turned out to be a blessing for Xavier, as this kid was able to develop his game. Freshman from Newburgh, Indiana. And he today has set the freshman assist record here at Xavier, surpassing Michael Hawkins, who set it back in 81-92.
Hawkins actually spent some time in the NBA. The Xavier program has all of the NBA jerseys up in the hallway right outside their locker room. Most of them big guys.
Yes, sir. A rare trip to the line for the Owls. Just their 8th free throw. 6 out of 8. Here's Ryan Caldwell. And they get to play the last 250. Come in for a Diedrich Finn. 4th season walk-on. Rhino is his nickname.
Well, in the media guide, he stressed his 2 strongest attributes are hustle and he's strong. I can see that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 4-year walk-on.
You think he can set a good pick?
Very popular member of this ball club. And see if they do like a lot of folks do in senior day situations, set up the senior in his final appearance at home.
Romain Sato has improved in so many different ways. Upon his arrival, known strictly as a jump shooter, catch-and-shoot guy. He could do that pretty well. And then last year, he started to put the ball on the deck a little bit. Not bad, but he's gotten better. This year, the big improvement are the subtleties. He's become a more cerebral player in terms of when to put the ball on the floor, when to share it, when to pull up for the jump shot. He's really beginning to think the game rather than just go out and be a premier athlete.
Just keeps pouring it on. Romain Sato. 26 points. Great percentages. Here's Polk with a pull-up, and that's good. Ryan Polk. He's got 10. I think I got the same question as the fans did. 2:35 to go, 22-point game. Why are you fouling? And with this one under control, let's check in with Matt Weiner.
All right, Dave, thanks very much. Well, with this game at 22 points and the fouls continuing, we're going to take you out for bonus coverage. Providence and Seton Hall tied at 54. You see the time left, 37 and change. In a very large game for the... All right, we'll take you back out to Providence for the final 10 seconds in just a moment. Just to update you, Xavier still leading big over Temple, looking for the 15th straight. And just moments ago, David West on senior day, pre-game ceremony to hoist his jersey. They've retired the number 30, and West obviously getting the big ovation on his final game at home. He finished with just 17 points, but that's immaterial given what he has done over his unbelievable career at XU. 91-65 right there. Let's get you back out to Providence. And they are headed to overtime. Meanwhile, back out to Xavier, where Musketeers were wrapping up their final home game of the season, win over Temple.
Murray can't get it. Caught only got Christensen ahead of the pack, but he gives a foul. Ryan's been stunned how Temple has been fouling the last 3 minutes with this game totally out of hand. Ryan Caldwell with his first bucket of the game. 50.1 seconds. David West left to a big ovation. Very productive game for David. Most of that early. 93-65. David West with 17 points, 8 boards, shot it well, gave it up as well, 7 assists, hit a 3-pointer only of the day. Glenn Elliott's going to return for Temple. David West, his regular season career ends on a very much an up note here at home.
And I'll repeat it. David West is the best player ever in the history of Xavier basketball. And in my opinion, he's the best ever in the Atlantic 10.
Some confidence in the game.
Hey, Dave, have you ever seen a team down 29 points and fouling to keep the possessions going?
No, never.
I never have.
We've both been around for a while. This has been generally most teams in the agony. Why prolong it? Most points given up by Temple this year, 94 points. David West had his number retired. The last time you'll see anybody wearing that number here at Xavier. Smith will take it across. Let's see if they feed somebody else who needs to get in the scoring column. Wow, what is he doing? Cylinders rather, with the foul.
You know, what they need is 4 touchdowns, and they're still down.
That's right.
For the Xavier women's basketball team.
First in rebounds, ninth in scoring. Big numbers in Atlantic 10 history.
Yeah, he's up there in block shots and assists for a big guy.
Keaton Christensen, a 6'4" freshman guard out of Greenville, Pennsylvania. Won 4 state high school championships in his high school days. David Gaither's in for Holly Smith.
I'm trying to think why Chaney's fouling him. Maybe because the crowd is booing every time he does it.
Just to spite.
Yeah, he's a very defiant man. He's not going to let anybody intimidate him.
Christensen looking for big fella. Caldwell sets a pick. And another foul. This has got to be, what, 10, 11 fouls here in the last 4 or 5 minutes? Ryan Caldwell, he got to have a big moment here on senior day.
Now, is this Kobe Bryant in transition? No. Watch the hang time, though. Not bad. He showed a little athleticism.
I like that. I like it very much. Out of McNicholas High School right here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, and he's the guy that every day in practice has to bang against David West. I know he doesn't block many of David's shots, but I bet that West does not get that low box without a play.
You can see that again. Cylinders inside, throws up a scoop shot. Christensen brings it down, and that, folks, is going to do it. No doubt about her here in the second half. Xavier had a 6-point advantage at first half, but come away with a resounding second half performance in a 96-65 win over Temple. For Tim McCormick and our entire ESPN crew, this is Dave Sims saying so long from Cincinnati. John Cheney and the Owls go down to defeat. They drop to 13 and 14, while Xavier wins its 15th straight. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. David West Day ends beautifully. He does it all, and Xavier comes away victorious, and they head to the A-10 tournament as